Studying the, I ain't even gonna complain about that. But I ended up having to make an appointment. I got one for Friday, but everybody wanted to go to that one, the one I was at. That's on the side of town where I used to live, right? And to put it in perspective, why I said what I said earlier when I was talking about the cop, and they really don't need to be on that side of town like that. Just, as a matter of fact, I saw another cop when I got close to the office, DMV office. Is another one. And you rarely see stuff. Rarely happens over there. They didn't moved over there in the last 10 years, but to put it in perspective, like 10 years ago when I had my other apartment, uh, 2014, 15, I had my other, you know, and I didn't know what gang stalking was. I had, I was meeting girls, right? And I guess I forgot what side of town they come from, but the bottom line is, they folks, when they would come over, they was talking about how they were born and raised here, right? And from high school, but they had never been to that side of town. You know, where I was staying, they ain't know nothing about it. They had been to that side. That was the first time. They didn't even know it existed. The high school, they were talking about their high school days, this and that. And they had never. And it was like reminded me of Birmingham. For some reason they had the they the guy right there, the army guy too. Friday, he's like, let's go fishing. When I was over at my truck, the truck right. So me and him went fishing like twice when I first moved here. That was how you notice he don't talk to me no more. But that's because of them. And so yeah, I just got back from the DOV and they had him just happened to be waiting with his fishing pole. And now he look all sad. Like he don't look sad. Yes he do. I took him. I had the blue uh, Tahoe, right? And we went to a couple of spots. I ain't catch nothing. I had to use his poles, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody when I first got here, everybody was happy, cool, but just like everything, they're telling all. That's what I'm telling you. This is fake and phony. All the animosity is not. America ain't divided. It's all the people who jumped on the communist traitorous. Don't you notice they're being that? So your family ain't taken apart like that. Meaning naturally, it's just sad. Some of your family members, don't have no morals, no screw, and they sold out. That's it. That's not a divide. Divide would mean it's a heated topic. We all had heated topics and we disagree. No, man, I ain't doing that. But it's not nothing bad. Bad. I'm just saying, yeah, you disagree. This ain't a disagreement. This is total treason. This is not a like I said, communism is basically stealing someone who's smarter than you, worked harder than you, or whatever. Even if you work hard, but you're just not as smart. So he's smarter. He don't have to work as hard. That's not fair to this person who was born smart. Just because he can figure out a better way to do it and get done faster and make more money, how is that fair to him? That's totally demonic. See what I'm saying? We got things to help people who aren't as smart as us. But what happened is y'all the ones who thought we were cheating or there was some kind of good old boy clubs. Like, no, they like us when we're young and new and don't know anything because we can soak up all, and they see it immediately. We can soak up the information. They're not treating us special because we're do boys. They're treating us special because they only had to explain once or twice, and we got it. And they can trust us. It's done. They know they ain't got to keep coming and tell us over and over and over again. And it's not just that we learned it, we had the integrity to keep doing it without having to be told. We're not getting privilege. That's not privilege. You don't know what the word means, right? All right, so anyway, I got off subject because of him. But anyway, like I said, so yeah, I didn't like wow, black folks are so. I'm going back to the This was like 2015, 24. I ain't know what gang stalking was. But anyway, I just moved up here and I was meeting chicks. And, the type I like, well, whatever, not like, but, at that time, what really it wasn't the type I liked, but you know, I was going more for outside because of the gang stalk. I didn't know what was wrong, so I wasn't going to try to get, what I used to go for all my life. So it's like, yeah, that shit didn't, but it didn't work out because of the gang stalkers. But so now it's like, all right, let me just go for glitter, glitz and glitter. You know what I mean? And you know, younger, all that. But anyway, they was like, yo, we never been. They say, yo, but we never been over here. I'm like, huh? And then the relatives, the mama or something. We never been on this side of town. But it reminded me of Birmingham. Them niggas in Birmingham, they never left my neighborhood. They did not know nothing about Homewood or Hoover. They would not go over there. And those are different towns, but Charlotte is big enough that it's technically the same. It's just like I said, if this was Birmingham, it would just be another city where I just left. A whole nother city, but they would and they just like, yo, we never been over. So that's what I'm talking about. They don't even have, they don't even want to, oh, but anyway, so finally I left because they was like, well, just stand here. What time is it now? Just wait till 12. But there was a girl, the two girls, and one of them saying they had came Friday, and you supposed to get there at 12, and then they start taking walk-ins, but then they still didn't couldn't get to everybody. Yeah, it's only 10:40, right? I'd still be standing there, and so finally I looked on the website again and said, you know what, let me see. And that the one I was at, there was no appointments for 90 days. But then I looked at another one. I used to even the almost all the way to goddamn the border. But it ain't that far. It's only like a 20-minute drive by highway, if that much. 15. Really, you just take one boulevard, you can just drive straight down there. But anyway, so I got one for Friday. So I said, yeah, I talked to the girl behind. I'm like, yo, I got an appointment. I'm not waiting in this line. Because they like, you waiting that line and they start seeing people at 12 and they still might not get to you. Because at the line, I was outside, but the people inside were before us. So, by 12, the people that's sitting down, they're going to be seen before you. And there's a whole lobby full. So I left. And so as I'm leaving, as usual, somebody pulls up and stops me, you know, and I'm like, nah, they ain't even gonna see nobody till 12. So, and this was about 30 minutes ago. I think I left at 9:40. I got there about 8:30 and stood there till about 9:40. And the rest of them was like, they just gonna wait all day. I said, you know what? Just go on. You better hurry up because you get online, the appointment's gonna get taken up. The closest I can get is Friday. This Friday coming up, and it's Monday. And it's like, I'd rather just wait till Friday. So anyway, but this black chick pulls up as I'm walking in the parking lot, and she, hey, so what's going on? I'm like, yo, you gotta wait in that line, and they still ain't even gonna start seeing people walk-ins till 12 o'clock. So she's the lady that worked for DMV. She came out. She said, y'all can leave and come back, or just stand here till 12, or come back at 12. And that's when I made my appointment. But anyway, so the chick in the car though, she was like, you know what it is? They're giving away them free ID. She said that out the blue. And everybody that know that pull up on me, everybody in that line is gang stalking me. I'm dead serious, right? But so she says out her mouth, I ain't even think about it. She said, oh, it's the ID. They're giving away free IDs for the voting thing. For the election. I said, oh, okay, that's what it is. She said that. She said, yeah. So everybody know about Kamala and the Democrats, and they're trying to get their illegals. Because regular people, I don't care how bummish and streets you are, homeless, everybody been had an ID. All these decades, every nigga got a fucking ID. The only niggas that don't have IDs that I ever known purposely thought they can get away without having an ID. They didn't want to get an ID. It was on purpose. One excuse, they thought that they would pull their record up when they get, when you go apply, when you go to the DMV, and they because they got warrants, and it's like, no, they're not finna pull up. You know how long that would take? Nobody would. I'm like, nah, they just, even if it does come up, they're not finna call the sheriff to come get you or anything, or the cops. You know, but if you're on that type of list, that means the U.S. Marshals coming for you, no matter what city or state you in. Yeah, you didn't. That's the only type of list that you ain't got to worry about it. Even if you got felony warrants, they ain't. You can get your ID. But I don't know. But anyway, the point was, my point in just saying what I said is no. Everybody know how to get an ID. That was. They never apologize for saying that dumb shit. Black folks don't know how to get an ID. It's like everybody know where to get that. That was insulting to all black folks. Because it's like, first of all, how all these people on food stamps? You can't get your food stamps without getting your ID first. And that's not an insult. It's just the bottom line is you can't do nothing. You can't buy a car. You can't even get your bus, whatever. Any free benefits. You can't get none of it without you. Everybody know how to get the fucking ID. So anyway, but like she said, they're giving away IDs. That's why it's so packed now. I said, oh, okay, that's what it is. But I'm like, I got an appointment, and I told her, I said, you might try to get online because the appointments will disappear right in your face if you ain't hurry. Especially DMV, you can go online right now, and I got mine for Friday. So if you go on, I bet if you go back, there's probably no more for Friday. At the mine was at 9:30 in the morning, so there's probably going to be the ones for the rest of the day probably gone by now. But anyway, another thing I gotta say. Back to business. There's one video I just see. Somebody went and interviewed Amish people in Amish town in Pennsylvania. Even Amish people, they don't vote, but this time they're voting. Even they're worried about the Democrats. Even Kamala fucked up when Amish people are against her. They don't even get involved with the ways of the world. I'm gonna play it in a minute. Amish people are like, we got to go vote to make sure that Trump wins. Everybody, it's not about popularity. Oh, nobody, Kamala's cool or Trump is cool. Nobody cares. Trump just happens to be cool. That's a plus for him. But that's not what we're voting for. He could be just, this dry businessman, but long as he's with the same job performance, nobody cares. Nobody would care. He just happened to be funny and likable, That's what the Democrats tried to take advantage, like, oh, see, he's not serious. I know, you can't get mad because you're lame. Like, you got to have a stick up your ass in order to perform. The rest of us, a lot of us, we don't have to do that.
Show over the weekend on Fox and just imploding under the pressure because, when Shannon Bream asked the question, oh, scary. He doesn't know what to say here. And it's a basic question that he ought to be well informed on, except I don't think he fundamentally believes in the First Amendment, nor does his running mate, Kamala Harris. So when Shannon asked this question, he was just caught stumbling. You've said there's no guarantee to free speech for misinformation or hate speech. But first of all, Supreme Court very clear in a unanimous 2017 decision that hate speech is protected. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be protected stuff.
Exactly. Hate speech, it does need to be protected. Especially black folks. All y'all, even the females. Remember how nowadays all of y'all gangster. The Candy Burses, all y'all tough. Hey, bitch. Yeah, all the females, everybody tough. So why you scared of speech? Definitely nowadays, all that BLM shit with yeah, dog. So your feelings get hurt that easily. You need the government to protect you. Your delicate ears and eyes. You can't read. I can't read that. That hurts my feel. Turn the fucking page. Turn it off. Change the channel. Is somebody holding you hostage, making you watch a Twitter feed with hateful speech on it? Or since we got free speech, say something back. You punk ass bitch, that shit whack. Exactly. Say something. Yeah, fuck you, motherfucker. And then they could be like, oh, we triggered you. Yeah, trigger these, motherfucker. Yeah, exactly. You ain't triggered me. You just a little bitch. And that's, just go back and forth. Or don't. Don't waste the energy. Whatever floats your boat, you know. But there's no reason to all this hate speech. That's bullshit. That's them just trying to censor everything. And they too stupid. You can see, look at Tim Wall's face, Kamala Harris. They too stupid to even pull it off. They know they can't even, with a straight face, tell that lie that they just want to protect people and this and that.
None of us like to hear. But more importantly, who gets to decide on the issue of what misinformation is?
Look, the First Amendment is found.
And look, like they said, who decides what is hate speech and who misinformation? And that's also insulting. You're telling everybody that they're too stupid to do their own research. Now, if you take something for granted and somebody tell you some information and you run with it yourself and you just go, you either got to learn the hard way not to trust that person, or you do your research next time.
Foundational. It's something I spent my whole life, the vice president, and I think most Americans are clear on this. The point being on this, we're seeing censorship coming in the form of book bannings in different places. We're seeing it attempts in schools. The issue on this is the hate speech and the
book bannings. They try to act like it's ignorant people banning, Greek philosophy or something. No, they're banning pornographic books in children's schools, first grade, middle school. That's what they're banning. That's what I was saying. How are they allowed, these perverts allowed to sit up there and say, yeah, we're against book banning, when everybody know perfectly well what type of, I mean, even me, much as I talk about pussy and da. I don't know how I would have felt to be even in middle 7th grade. You know how we acted when you're learning about the 7th grade sex ed. And like I said, the stuff we learned about AIDS in 7th grade, this was 1987. It never changed, meaning there were no updates. So the stuff we learned about how you catch it, this and that, still the same. Regular sex ed, that's all you need. But this isn't sex ed books. These are just explicit books trying to get people aroused. Little kids reading together. To me, like I said, it's like watching porn with your homeboys. Something I've never done. Every once in a while you might have, if it's a chick that was super hot, especially the VCR days in the 90s, check this bitch out. But you don't, what you do, hey, let me get that and leave, right? You don't sit there and watch porn with your homeboys. Maybe that's a fraternity thing in college, but it ain't an army thing when they're sitting there watching porn together. Could you imagine a bunch of dudes? It's nothing but dudes. Y'all, even in high school. Now, maybe when you was a little bit younger, and your 8th grade, 7th grade, somebody got a magazine, and we're all, ooh, look at this. But high school, no, you don't fucking watch porn with your homeboys. Think about it. There's just like, what you trying to do, man? You trying to get, that's some Puffy type shit. Before Puffy, that's what I'm saying. We was always against it. You know what I'm saying? We're not finna, this is 1990, we're 16. We're not finna sit in somebody's living room when the parents are gone and a bunch of guys and watch fucking porn. That's the equivalent of what they're trying to do with these explicit books. Because you think about it. 7th grade, they read it, and they know they read some of the books. They would kick people because some of the parents got mad and came to the city council and they would kick them out because they would read the exact book that they child brought home from class. And then they're like, how is that not appropriate for a parent to read it in a room full of adults at city council, but you want to kick them out? But the kids are supposed to be reading this together. Yeah, like I said, even us, even type of dudes we are, That's definitely a no go, man. I don't want to hear that shit. What the fuck is that? You get mad? That's time to fight. Even your friend, man. What the fuck you trying to do? Yeah, why are you trying to get each other aroused? Why are you trying to arouse? There's a difference between oh shit, it's some girls over there. Oh yeah, that's different. Yeah, yeah. And then we go clown each other. Nigga, you ain't finna say shit. Your ass. Let's go over there. You ain't gonna have shit to say. Something like that. But but yeah, to sit up there like no, they're trying to bring whatever they're trying to do. So Tim Wall should be in prison.
Protected hate speech. Speech that's aimed at creating violence. Speech that's aimed at threats to individuals. And that's what we're talking about in this. And the decision on that, society decides on a lot of this. The idea of someone going on and threatening someone's life or a child's life online, I don't think any of your viewers think that is something that should be acceptable.
I mean, there's a distinction, you would say, though, between something like a threat and misinformation.
Oh, certainly. And that's what we're talking about. And I think the idea of making sure that folks understand are good consumers of that, those are the decisions they make. But I've always defend your First Amendment rights, defend your right to disagree on every case. That robust discussion has to happen. And that's why I'm so opposed to book banning. That's why in Minnesota we banned the practice of book banning. Let you make the decision of what you're going to read, whether you find it objectionable or not. The difference is threats, that type of speech.
Okay. Oh boy. Of course, don't forget. Do you remember when it was hate speech to say that coronavirus may have originated out of the lab in Wuhan, China, where they were actually working with it?
And it's funny, Amazon, we got rid of Netflix, but I'm watching a show from 2019 called Hot Zone or Hot something. And it's about the back in the 80s, 89, with the Ebola virus. And it's funny because I knew after that, because after the Wuhan, the China, that's when we all really, they made a point to say, no, all these viruses before were named from where they came from, right? And this show is it is made in 2019, right? So right before the timing. So meaning, well, actually, it was released in 2019. So they filmed it probably in 2018 or the beginning of 2019 because it came out in 2019, right? And I'm watching it now. I never seen it. Hot Zone or something like that. And it's about these dudes, the people, CDC, all of them flying all over to Africa and all that. And points out that Ebola is a river in Africa. It's like we didn't heard the name Ebola virus so long that it don't sound like a place. It sounds like some kind of name. It really, is like, wait a minute, it's actually a river, the name of a river. It's not the name. They didn't just make up a name, Ebola. No, it's a because that's where our brains are. We've been hearing that name for decades. And West Nile virus, but West Nile, okay, that's kind of okay. West Nile, the Nile River, yada. But so it's like, yeah, the Wuhan is it's not racist or hate speech. That's all viruses are named from where they originate. You know what I'm saying?
That's hate speech, apparently, right? Because you were somehow characterizing China in a bad way. Like, who's deciding? And you heard, the Supreme Court, we don't like hate speech, not one bit, but the Supreme Court upheld that is still a freedom of speech issue. These people don't understand it. They don't respect it.
It's like, yeah, I might not like your speech, but is that corny saying, I don't like your speech, but I'll defend to my dying breath your right to say it. They don't believe. See, Democrats, they don't believe that people actually believe that, right? That we believe in your right to say what the fuck you want to say. And like black people brought up, y'all generation, hate speech, freedom of speech don't protect you from consequences, But we've been said this in the 80s. You say what you can handle. Say whatever you think, just like Mike Tyson, say what you think your mouth can handle, right? Getting punched in the mouth. You say what you think you can handle, right? Or something like that. We been that's a New York saying, back well it was when I was a kid. The older kids would say that, say what you think you can handle. When I was like 12 years old in '86, you got to learn. Yeah, that dude big. He need to get out. You see, that's a that's who they taking him for. Yeah, he need to take his big ass somewhere, fishing or something. But look at him. But so yeah, it's like you can say what you want to say, but it's like say what you want to say, but that's what freedom we defend your right to say what you want to say. But like, why do you need? But all it is them, you know, wanted to censor everybody so they could just take it. Why is he looking over here? The fat dude. And so, you see these people? They're crazy.
And the idea now is, if you disagree with anything this administration says, you're a part of the problem. You're a part of the hate speech. If you're not on board with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, it's misinformation. If they don't like the question a reporter asked them in the briefing room, it's misinformation. Listen to this one. To the impacted areas. But instead...
And see, like when Trump, everybody else sees it when they argue with Trump. That's totally different. And it's not us trying to flip it, because we got his own video. We could pull up the facts where Kamala and Tim Walz lie. So it's not, Kamala, she handled that aggressive report. It's like, no, the bitch straight up lied.
People want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous. Because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That's our focus here.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for
His
people
values,
in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do? Yes, it's misinformation.
Is there money to spend right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. Okay, it goes on. All right, I actually, if you guys watch the show regularly, I've played this soundbite a lot because it's just crazy. At some point, Peter Ducey looks at her from Fox and he's like, so wait a second, if you don't like the question, you can't just say, if you don't like my question, that it's misinformation or disinformation. And I found it kind of funny because on Friday or Thursday, CNN was trying to talk about FEMA and they were trying to be so cautious, like on eggshells about how they talked about FEMA because they're afraid to actually say that FEMA doesn't have any more money. Because, that would be misinformation, disinformation, even though Mayorkas told us they were out of cash and wouldn't be able to actually move forward if there were more hurricanes coming. And that was before Milton.
Yeah, and we should say from the outset here that FEMA does have the money that it needs for its immediate concerns. That's according to the White House, that's according to the FEMA director. But there are other pots of money that they are concerned about. And specifically when it comes to the Small Business Administration, they're responsible for providing low interest loans, not only to small businesses, but to homeowners and renters as well who are trying to recover from this storm. And what President Biden says is they only have a few weeks of funding left and they need more money very urgently. Now, FEMA is
very urgently. Careful. You're gonna get some noses.
Alright, so here's the kicker. I'm gonna start and do another video